Hi everyone, I'm your fave nurse B. So today we're going to talk about postpartum care. Before we get into the video, thank you all for coming back to my channel. And if you're new, what's up? Hello, how you doing? Yes, I just greeted you about 3 different ways. Make sure that you like this video, comment, and subscribe. Also, check us out on the YourFavNurseB Facebook group. We have a lot of discussions on there, and I will be posting more and more often. And I'm going to be starting a YourFavNurseB Instagram page, so go ahead and follow me on there. So with postpartum care, which basically just means after death. Okay, so first off, I just want to let you all know that I am a long-term care nurse. I am an LPN and I work in a nursing home. So death is basically why my patients are at my facility, is because, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to die. And I know it seems like, what? You know, they're going to like, but I was like, I remember being a CNA and I was just like, oh my goodness, like she's dying, like, huh? And a CMT was like, well, that's what they're here to do. And that's when I was like, you know what? That's what they're here to do. So it is what it is. But you know, you make the best of your patient's life when they're there. Be the best nurse you can be, and that's that. The things that with after death care is that it's gonna change. It's gonna vary based off the facility you're in, the setting that you're working in, and also the demographics that you're working with. Now, everything I'm telling you is based off what I know as working in a long-term care facility. This is what I know where I'm at. It can be totally different where you're at, but I do believe that a lot of things that I'm saying are pretty much gonna go anywhere that you're working. First off, you need to know your patient's code status. So you walk into a room, your patient is clearly passed away. What do you do? So I'm gonna make a different video about that, but you need to know what your patient's code status is. So are they DNR or are they CPR? But in hospitals, there's like different levels to it. But basically, you need to know, okay, can I proceed with this care, or do I need to put in my nursing interventions to actually try to bring this person back to life? So that's that. So know your patient's code status is one thing. But I will do a separate video kind of going more into depth about that. But also what I want you all to know is when you come into a room, so say you come into a room or the CNA comes, you say, have things such as passed away. First things first, you need to know that person's religious beliefs or like their cultural beliefs. I say this because there's some cultures. So I have a patient, she's Chinese. The family has like a clear sign, you know, saying if my mother passes away, do not touch her body. Call us right away. We will come, and I believe there's like a ceremony that they do on her body. They don't want anybody touching her. So you know, you need to know your patient's religion before you do anything, okay? So that you know what's the next steps as far as that. Some religions, you have to contact them right away. They have to like be buried and everything within a certain amount of days, things like that. So know your patient's religion. That's going to be very, very helpful. It's going to save you a whole bunch. So the next thing you need to do is you come in, you believe that your patient passed away. You need to verify this with a MD or another nurse. So by verifying that the person passed away, you all will check for vital signs, check for a pulse. We'll check the pulse, listen to their heart, see if we can hear a heartbeat. Looking at them, we don't see any type of respirations, nothing. Okay, my patient has passed away. So you and that nurse verify it, and then you look at the time. Okay, the time of death is this time, and you go from there. So what I do is I do it based off when the CNA came to me, or when I came in and saw the patient was passed away. I'll do the time of death like that. But you know, it could be that person died 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, 15. Hopefully it's something longer than that, but it could be. But you just go by when you basically saw the person, you know, pass away, or that you saw that they were no longer with us. So the next thing that you need to know is, who do you contact first? Now, for me, it just really depends on the situation. But I, like, say for instance, your patient is on hospice. I like to contact hospice first. Then the hospice nurse is supposed to contact the family, the doctor, the mortuary. They're supposed to do everything for you. Now, some hospice companies, they don't do it that well. My particular job, they have a hospice company that works with them that does everything. They come, they take care of everything. But you really need to know, because you could call the hospice nurse and it could take her a minute to call you back, and then she may or may not call the family, or she might not call you back for 30 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not want to hear that someone in my family passed away and, you know, it's been an hour and you haven't called me. Like, it took you that long to call me. Like, don't wait that long. So you need to kind of figure out if the hospice nurse is going to contact the family, what they're going to do. So if there's no hospice involved, then the first thing I would do is go ahead and call the family. Now you can call the doctor first. It's just you have to think, you know, depending on what time it is, the doctor may or may not call you back right away. Again, it's kind of like a time thing. You don't want to wait too long to call that person's family and let them know what's going on. It's just a time sensitive thing. But I have had it where some MDs were in the MD was in the building, and the MD was like, okay, I'm gonna call the family, because the MD had a relationship with the family. So he was like, okay, I'll call the family and let them know what's going on, you know. But the patient was actively passing away, that we knew that they were going to go at some point. So the doctor went ahead and called the family instead of me calling. So that's a good thing, you know, because it's, I mean, they have probably a better relationship than I did as a nurse. I was a new nurse at the time, y'all, my first death. But anyways, so either call the MD first or call the family first, but just know that it is very time sensitive. So however you do it, you know, think about that. But having that conversation with a family member, telling them that somebody died, that is a very, very, that's a hard thing to do. So I can remember one time that I called a family member, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was a brand new nurse. Like, I was like, huh? Like, I didn't know. Like, it was, yeah. I'm so glad, so glad that the nurse that was on duty, like, helped, like, that was around, she came over there and helped me, because I was like completely lost. And I remember thinking, like, I hope when this person dies, I hope that she does, like, I hope I'm not the nurse on duty, because she was somebody who basically, you know, she had been she was non-responsive basically, and well, she had, I believe she had a stroke, and she was on a tube feeding, she had a trach, and you know, the family just was not gonna give up on her. They did not want to put her on hospice. They wanted her to be a full cold, and she was contracted and all this, and I was like, oh my goodness, when this person passes away, this is gonna be a horrible code to have to perform on this woman, and we're going to be pumping her and pumping her and pumping her, and she's going to have all this going on. She got the trach. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard to do, because, you know, the lady is basically, you know, like, I hate to say it, but it's like, in some sense, it's just like, y'all, like, you're going to put this person through all this stuff for what? What kind of quality of life is she gonna have? But that's a totally different video, you all. But yeah, so that was that was one of my first patients that I had that passed away, was this patient. I had to call her daughter and let her know. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning, and I've heard people say, like, don't say she's no longer with us, don't say she's passed, just say we went into her room and we found that, you know, she did not have any vital signs. We found that she had you know, she was gone, basically. But you can just say we went into the room and we checked her vital signs. She was without vital signs. She did pass away. She did die tonight. The doctor pronounced her time, whatever you want to say, however you want to put it. It's hard. It's gonna be hard either way it's gonna go. It's gonna sound like it's gonna be hard. That's all I can say. Like, your fave nurse B can't even come up with the words for it, but it's hard. Some people are better with it than others. I've had one nurse talking to a family member, and the family member was like, oh, I'm driving. The nurse was like, okay, I need you to pull over. And I'm sure the family knew right at that moment. And so she was like, you know, if you need to, don't drive, you know, get somebody to come up there and get you where you're at. And like, she was like a seasoned nurse. She knew exactly what to do. I was like, go on, girl. But it's something that you have to learn how to do. It is hard for anybody to tell somebody that someone that they love has died. I mean, just think about it. That's really hard to do. But anyways, you need to talk to the family members. But when you do call the family, y'all, make sure that you're calling the power of attorney. The power of attorney, or the POA, or the responsible party for that for the person, or the emergency contact. Now, this can get a little sticky, because some people, they have like 5 people as their POA. Like, it's crazy. Like, one person is financial, one person is for medical. So it's like all over the place. Some people, they're their own POA or own responsible party. Some people don't have any family to call. So it's just like, you know, so you really need to know that, make sure you're calling the right person. Because I'm telling you, when people pass away, even when they're still alive, when people pass away though, like things get real crazy with families, like with siblings. Like, oh, you should have called me. Why did you call my brother? My brother is not her power of attorney. I am the power of attorney. I should have been contacted. So they already got this tension that they had for years or whatever as siblings, on top of the fact that mom just passed away. So they're even more tense and upset and angry. So you're going to feel the wrath from that family if you do not contact the right family member. And plus, legally, you know, as far as like HIPAA violations, things like that, you need to make sure that you're calling the right family member. So pay attention to that, y'all. So when you talk to your MD, you have to get a diagnosis of why they died. So typically it'll be like their like chief complaint, or like the #1 diagnosis that they have. So it'd be like CHF or Alzheimer's, or it could be dementia, diabetes, something like that was the ultimate thing that killed them. So you have to get a diagnosis from the MD, at least in my facility. Like I said, I don't know if it's different anywhere else. You need to prepare the body. So this is where you get into the, you know, the nitty-gritty of it. So you need to make sure the person is clean. So this is where you get your help from your CNA or your patient care tech. Make sure the body is clean. Change your brief. Just know that there's some things that may or may not happen. Sometimes you might turn them and they'll be like, oh, and you'd be like, wait, what? I thought we just pronounced this person. Sometimes it's just that person's like last breath, or just sometimes that's just part of it. And then also they might have like a really large BM, and a lot might come out of their body, like their body is just releasing everything. So keep that in mind on them. If they have like any IVs or Foley's, things like that, remove all that. But if the person's supposed to get like an autopsy, I need to do some more research into it, but if they're supposed to get like an autopsy, you're supposed to just leave everything in them. Do not take anything out. So you need to make sure that you know about that as well. In long-term care, like, you know, we're really not dealing with that so much, but in case a family does want an autopsy, I do believe that you're supposed to leave everything like intact with the body. Don't take anything away from that person's body. Leave it all there. But I'll do a little bit more research and let you all know. So that's that. Yeah, remove Foley's, IVs, oxygen, things like that. And then also, just in case like the family says they want to come and see the body, make sure you take out any type of like medical equipment. So like I said, take out like concentrators and IV poles and tube feeding poles. Take that stuff out, because it's no need for it to be there. It's just taking up space, and it's too much like institutionalized. To me, I feel like just if you can, take that type of stuff out so that the person just looks kind of peaceful. You don't have to have all this crap around them. Take it out. I think it looks better, and I've learned, and I remember reading it like this, best to just take all that out. So do that if you can. And then yeah, so do that. I would typically say have like 2 people with you doing it. I remember the very first deceased person that I saw at a hospital, we had to bag like the person up. Like we had to get them clean, bag them up, put the tag on their toe, and like transfer them onto like this little stretcher or whatever, and then push them down to like the morgue in the hospital. That was crazy. I'm just not thinking, I haven't thought about that in a while, but yeah, I remember doing that. Yeah, so it's different, like I said, different facilities. So that said, the next thing is to contact the medical examiner. Now I don't know if they do this in hospitals or what, but at my job we have to contact the medical examiner. And then there's like this sheet of everything that we have to do, and I will insert the sheet in here for you all to see, and I will put a picture on my Instagram and also on my Facebook for you all. So I really like to fill out this sheet before calling the medical examiner, because a lot of stuff that they ask you is going to be on this sheet. So they're going to ask you, of course, like the person's name, their date of birth, their social security, the diagnosis, what time they were last seen dead, and then the time that they were found dead. I mean, the time they were last seen alive, and then when they were found dead, and when they were pronounced. They're going to ask you, like, did the person have, like, fractures? Like, it's certain things on the sheet. And then they're going to also ask you, like, your information, and then you take down their information, and they give you a case number to put on the sheet. So it's just one sheet. That's it. Boom, boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. That's it. So make sure you fill that out before you call the medical examiner, because you're going to be just flipping through stuff or clicking through stuff trying to figure it out. But get that done first, and then call them and get the information that you need from them. So make sure you write down the case number. Okay, so another thing to consider with after death care is if that person has a roommate, you really want to try to consider getting the roommate out the room, whether it's like kind of having them go to activities or do something else, or seeing if you can just get them into a different room. Because I mean, if the family is going to be coming to view the body, like, you don't want to have their roommate in there like looking, and you know, you want to give that person in that family some type of privacy. And also, like, for the patient's roommate, like, you don't want them to have to be in the room with a deceased body. Like, you don't want that to be the case. So if you can't get them out the room, either have them doing something to distract them until the mortuary comes and picks up the body, or see if you can get them moved to a different room. All right. Something else is like calling the mortuary. Sometimes a family will say, you know, we want to come and view the body. So do not call the mortuary if that's the case, because sometimes the mortuary can come really, really fast. So don't call the mortuary if that's the case. Sometimes a family will call or something like that. Just kind of get an idea from the family if they want to come see the patient or not, so that you know we need to call them. So that's that. Mortuaries are really pretty easy. Sometimes they give you like paperwork, and basically I just throw it in the chart, but you really don't need it. In my job, you don't need paperwork from them. So that's that. Now, if your patient's an organ donor, then that's something else. But working where I work, most people that I work with, they collect organs. They don't donate them, you know, at that point. So I don't have to really think about that. I have never even thought about that or considered that with my patients. But if your patient is an organ donor, there's other things that you have to do. Also, you need to make sure that you write a nurse's note. So you basically, what you wrote on the medical examiner sheet, I'm sorry if I look tired, like I am tired. You all know I film my videos at night because I have my baby, she's asleep. I film them at night while she's asleep, and then I gotta go to work in the morning. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. So do a nurse's note. Just basically whatever you put on the medical examiner sheet, put it in there. But like I said, every facility is different. There might be something else that you have to do, a different sheet or something like that. But it can just be simple and plain as far as your patient passing away. Now, if you have to do like a code and you can't bring the person back, you gotta call the ambulance, and the ambulance have to pronounce them and this, that, and the third. Yeah, there's gonna be something that you have to really put all that out there. If there's issues with the family and things like that, or anything, you have to put that on there. But remember, with charting, you have to chart objectively and make sure you get your times right and who you communicate with it. Have that on there right. I do have a video about charting. Go watch it. It's actually one of my favorite videos that I made. So definitely go watch that video about charting. But it can just be simple, you know. CNA came to you and asked you to go into the room. You went into the room, found a patient was not breathing, did not have any vitals. You verified it with another nurse. Patient was pronounced at this time. Patient's body was warm to touch. You know, things like that. Contact the POA, contact the MD, diagnosis, that type of thing, and keep it pushing. Last thing last is dealing with your emotions when it comes to a person passing away. Now I've had some situations where I had patients pass away, and I was very like, you know, it can get to you, especially even dealing with the elderly. When we know they're gonna pass away, it's still like the family, sometimes they just break your heart. Sometimes just seeing them can be really sad. Sometimes you got some families that are very hysterical, they can't believe it, and it's just like, it's a lot for them and it's a lot for you. It's emotional. You might have other things going on and it could be a lot. But, you know, try your best to not let your emotions get in the way of taking care of your patients, whether they be good or bad. Sometimes, especially with long-term care, you've been dealing with these people for years. But you have to still be the professional. You can kind of show it in your face, you know, in your eyes, and show compassion and talk to them. But really try your best not to be in the hallway bawling with the family. Like, you try not to do that. You have to be the professional. You have to, like, keep it intact. I know it's hard, you know. I just made a video about keeping a heart, having a heart. But you still have to be the professional in the situation and do not become too emotionally involved in your patient's death, okay? So that is my video. I hope it was helpful. I know this is a little like dark, you know, but it is part of the job that we do. It's different in different settings. You know, if you're working with peds, I can't even imagine that. So working with peds, or working with, you know, if you're working with like labor and delivery, things like that, could be totally different scenario. I mean, completely different. But this is just from what I know, my experience. Please let me know, you all, if you have any other video requests, things that you'd like to see. Remember, I am your fave nurse B. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow our Facebook group and the Instagram group. If you're interested, go check out my lifestyle channel, Stay Forever True. I have mommy videos, vegan, vegetarian videos, hair videos, all that good stuff. Thank you all so much for all your support. Am I looking more awake? Maybe I should just keep this makeup on because I gotta go to work in the morning. All right, thanks for watching, you all. Peace.